If you criticize Israel, if you call this a genocide, you are anti-Semitic.
Netanyahu is the most hated human being on earth.
Iran has nuclear weapons of mass destruction.
Out of all the billionaires in America, what percentage do you think are Jewish?
Oh!
Can I ask you a question? When they started this bombing, they actually didn't know it was about nuclear. It was about regime change. I speak loudly about what's happening in Gaza because I don't think a brown child has a lesser value than a white child. Until 1978, 40% of all Iranian oil was taken to the West.
Where do you stand with the IRGC? Is the IRGC a terrorist organization?
If I kill somebody's children and they want revenge, are they terrorists? Netanyahu is the biggest war criminal of all time. Hamas was funded by Netanyahu. I think the greater Israel is the plan.
Do you feel 9/11 was an inside job by Israel? Silverstein took insurance on those buildings. You would never see ISIS bomb Israel, ever. Did 6 million Jews really die?
He's laughing in his grave. He's saying, I told you so.
Sucking the blood during circumcision. Sucking the blood.
I don't know about that.
That's in the Talmud.
It depends who's sucking it, though, right?
That's in the... What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 95 of the Traders Brawl podcast, where we feature entrepreneurs, investment experts, business leaders, and even fitness freaks on the show. I'm Adel, your host, and if you're new here, welcome. Today's guest is Darish Sudi. Originally from Iran, Darish has built, lost, and rebuilt multiple multi-million-dollar ventures across industries, including sales, smart parking technology, consulting, AI engagement platforms, and veterinary healthcare. Today, through Gladiator Summit and his growing digital platforms, Darish shares insights on business discipline, geopolitics, and personal accountability. Darish, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Honored to be here. What took you so long? 95 friggin' episodes. Now you
95 episodes, and
anyway,
finally we're
you
here.
got momentum, so that's fine.
Thank you.
I've known you when you got momentum.
I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself in your own words to those who don't know you.
Have you ever been on a course where there's some smart asses in the room and you think, I'm not one of them. They got a gift. They got an ace in the pack. And then you get some losers. And then I'm the guy in the middle, right? He's got no particular any gifts, but he has a desire to do well, right? So that's who I am. I've never had a gift given to me or anything like to achieve anything in life. I had to work 10 times harder than anybody else. That's who I am.
I really wanted to know your story. How did you start? What was your first business venture? Before we get into the more, we'll sort of warm up to what we're going to talk about after. But for those who are seeing you for the first time, what was your first business venture that you built, the highlights, the downsides, and what you learned from it?
I think I've never been on a basic salary. So because I'm dyslexic, I'm not educated, but I always had an enthusiasm about finding things out. I always asked the right questions because I think the quality of the answer depends on the quality of questions you ask, right? So I've always asked the right questions. And so I got into sales. And so in a way, since the age of 18, I've had my own business because if I didn't sell, I didn't earn. So it was my own little business, my own Darish Sudi enterprise. I was selling vacuum cleaners, door-to-door vacuum cleaners.
Where was this?
In England.
England itself.
And it was, I think, today's price would have been like $4,000, but at that time it was $2,000 a vacuum cleaner. And it was commission only, and you, all the way through the day, you knocked on doors, you gave them a congratulations, you won a voucher, and then you call them, and then the ladies in the office would call them, make an appointment for me to go in the evening and sell them the vacuum cleaner. And the day I started, they went from rich neighborhood to poor council states. So they started something called finance. So you went and sold to lower class families $2,000 vacuum cleaner.
Wow.
I didn't do well, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot that, for instance, I used to have glasses, I had hair, and I used to have these jackets with, padded jackets here, shoulder pads. And when it rained, I did really well. And I was thinking, why is that? And I realized that prospects always look at you to see how much you persevere, how how much you go out there, outside your comfort zone, you show commitment. So when it rained, all my competition was inside hiding from the rain. I went out knocking on doors. I noticed that when you go like really silly hours, like 8, 9 o'clock at night, they let you in because the sugar levels are low. Nobody else is knocking on the door. And there was also people who knocked on, they had a sign on the door saying, no salesman. Salesmen do not knock, something like this. So salesmen go away. And I used to run away from it. Then I realized, why are they putting that sign? Okay. They put in the sign because you say yes to everyone. They have the fear of a salesman knocking on the door and they're going to buy anything. So every time I saw that sign, I celebrated, knocked, and I sold.
Wow.
Right. So at the age of 18, I realized certain criteria that where the traffic is, you shouldn't be. Knock on doors outside working hours. Where people are more comfortable or uncomfortable and staying in the pub or the restaurant or a home, hiding from the cold or the rain, you be out there knocking on doors. And then when somebody said, do not call me, there's a reason why they're saying it, because they have a fear of buying and they're weak. So little things have served me in my life throughout my career. Then I went to sell fax machines. Do you even remember fax machines?
Yes.
You're old enough to remember.
I'm old enough.
So they were around $2,000 as well. And then I remember we had yellow pages. There was no internet. And I opened the yellow pages and I'd never called before on the phone. And I could feel the sweat running down my back. And my sales manager comes over and says, make the call. And I remember this guy's name and he had XXX bastard written next to it. And the guy dialed his number. And I was like, hello. And I was totally screwed up. He told us to get lost and I put the phone down. But I realized it's a numbers game. No matter how good or bad you are, you will eventually sell to an idiot. Because there's always an idiot out there who'll buy you crap. Okay, so when I go as a consultant, I always ask them, how many people are you shaking hands with? How many people you're meeting? Because it's just a number. The more people you meet, you will sell more. Biggest reason why people don't make money, they don't meet enough people, period. But if they can polish up on the act, they can polish up on the sales skills, they'll close a larger percentage. So I'm the monkey in the room with no aces in the pack, works so hard, has a desire to go on a plane and turn left and not right. I'm always thinking, never jealous. I always looked at people with fancy cars and lifestyle and said, what are they doing that I'm not? What can they learn? It's the quality of questions. What can I learn from them so I can have a better life? How can my family have a better life?
And between what you did back then to recently when you launched Gladiator Summit in Dubai, which I've heard about, I've seen lots of videos online. What happened between that period and here? What made you decide, what sort of influenced you, inspire you to create a conference?
Rejection. All my life, I was told by my family member that, who I love dearly, that I wasn't good enough. It was always, look at next door neighbor, they're better than you. Look at them, they're better than you. You're not good enough. And I think all my life, I just want to prove to this person that she was wrong. Okay, so somebody came to me and said, you should be on stage. You have a really good story to tell. I said, yeah, I do, because whenever I speak, people applaud and cry and laugh, and they like that my authenticity and I share my vulnerability without fear. And so I went and approached this guy who owns events all over the world, and he just didn't want to know. He just was quite dismissive to me and rude. I paid VIP tickets to sit in the front to be able to be near his proximity, right? And I sat there and I said to the people next to me, I said, I can do better than this. And the question again was, how can I do better than this? I realized, for instance, the front row seats between them and the stage, the gap was too much. The speakers were not authentic. They were just from their head trying to sell you something. And I thought, what if I actually have a better AV system? What if I have the crowd closer to the audience, closer to the speaker? What if I hire speakers who speak from their heart and not from their head? What if I don't sell anything? I don't put my audience in a vulnerable place. I just give them love. If I keep giving love, would they come? And I turned out to the people next to me. I said, I'm going to have an event like this next year. And guess what? Next year, they spoke on my stage, the people next to me. And the guy who rejected me came and spoke on my second event. He rang me and asked if it was okay. And to me, it was prove a point. Yes, it was a horrible experience. I'll never have him again. Didn't like the guy. But then to me, it was like, see, see, I can do something.
Who is that
If I,
guy?
yeah, if I put my mind to it, I'm not going to tell. Not gonna tell.
Okay, fair.
Not
Well,
gonna
no, it does prove
But
a
the
point.
guy is total false. The world is full of people with false pretense, and
Yeah.
it kind of put me off the these influencer market where they add zeros to next to their results. You know, I've got 400,000 followers. I have 400,000 subscribers. I earn blah blah blah. North next to it.
Yeah.
And please don't believe it. The audience, don't believe. Go and judge for yourself, right? Because I noticed that even yesterday I was at a conference and this guy was just turning millions into billions and hundreds of thousands into, I've made billions of dollars and I made millions of dollars. Just BS.
After Gladiator, how many editions have you done with Gladiator? 3, right?
Not doing anymore.
I wanted to get into the mindset of that. What inspired you to now shift from being in the world stage 3 times in a row to now like, I'm not doing this anymore?
Fully booked, didn't discount a ticket, waiting list. In my second one, we had 2,500 people and people were trading tickets outside. That's how demand was. And I know, especially now we're going through this turmoil in the world.
Yes,
if I announce it, I'll get sold out. But honestly, I just want to do better than the last one. And it'll take me 3-4 months of my life to put the effort in. And as an event organizer, you take all the risk. You have to get the venue, you get the food, the entertainment. It's so much invested, mainly time. For what? You know, I shouldn't say do I lack so much love that 24 hours I get so much love and I'm good. I proved that I could do it. I'll give you an example. About 25 years ago, I used to go past these, I used to own gyms and we had these like 20 people turn up in a room with 1-hour classes, PT classes or gym classes. There was music. And I thought, what if I actually go to a leisure club, a leisure center in England, hire these big venues and put some huge speakers in the middle and I mix the music. Okay. So I hired a few dancers and we did a choreography and I hired the leisure center, got some really huge speakers, put them in the middle and I put the CD. We had CDs in the middle. And at the beginning, about 50 people showed up. And then we went to about 350 people an hour were showing up in these leisure centers. And I used to put them in this, lift these speakers, put them in my car. It was a state car. And go to the next one and set it all up again. And then the dancer, who was the main guy, got really cocky, really big-headed, and he started demanding more money. And it was almost I was working for him. So I fired him. And so it was about a period of about 2 months. We didn't have a show. We didn't have one of these events. And I found a lady. She was older, amazingly talented. And we launched it in a city called Stockport. And there was 1,000 people came. We were refusing people outside the door.
Wow.
Yes. When that happened, I just went, thank you so much. I don't need the headache and closed it and moved on.
Yeah.
But I love creating something from seeds, an idea, and showing people what we can do, what's achievable. Like we talk about music. Yes.
Yes.
I had the idea about a song. I put it together, everything in a week, did the whole video. Within 2 weeks, the whole thing was done and ready to launch. So action is the key. A lot of people talk, and in their head, they've already made the millions. They already got everybody celebrating the success. So why should they bother doing anything?
Right. So just to follow up on that, because one of the events I went to, conferences, was in 2024. I think it was January. Remember Fontico? That little launch?
It was mine.
That was your event.
That was mine.
That was your event. So I had no idea. I was like, wait, so
did you like
rings
it?
A bell. I had a great time. I saw Afrojack.
Yeah, I hired Afrojack.
You hired Afrojack?
Yeah.
The DJ?
Arash is my friend, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Afrojack, Chris Fade was there.
Right?
It was my event.
Damn.
Who invited you?
So I was doing interviews.
Amazing.
I'll show you them. They're on YouTube.
I'd love to, yeah.
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 So my
world.
Dubai Bling, I remember. I saw them.
Yeah.
So going from that to the new mindset of I'm not doing events anymore, do you feel more at peace?
I think we live in a world whereby money is important. So you wake up in the morning. I mean, it's a blessing. I remember in England, I lived in England 30 odd years. We have these, have you noticed we don't have any, is it called post boxes in
Yeah, letterbox.
Door letterboxes.
Yeah.
We don't have them in Dubai.
Mm-hmm. I know.
We don't have
we
letterboxes
don't have
in Dubai.
letterboxes.
Because in England, through the letterbox, every single day is a brown envelope.
Yeah.
Imagine you come down as a brown envelope, there's a bill. Imagine waking up to bills every day.
I know.
So negative,
It's so
right?
negative.
So automatically, you're brainwashed to work to pay that bill.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you get to a stage where, thank you, God, and thank you, universe, thank you, the energy of abundance, is that you're not chasing the money, but money comes to you, right? I'm at that stage now. Abundance comes to me, and I'm not chasing anymore. So, and also compounding is you have to, no matter what age you are, start saving and start compounding. That's the magic. Despite all, I started compounding 10, 11 years ago, and people were like, you're an idiot, spend it here. The temptation was to take these flights, live this lifestyle. But I saved and saved. I was so disciplined. Now I never have to work again. And what I do is I do it for fun.
Now, let's move on to some of the geopolitics that we're seeing, because, you mentioned we're in a turmoil, and we had a conversation about this just this week. Iran is also closing the Strait of Hormuz, saying, look, you attacked us, so we're just going to close it. Why would we open it? What's your take on that? Because that's affecting energy. It was great to have you. 2026 has gotten off to a really rough start. Like January, we had Nicolas Maduro, the Venezuelan president, kidnapped by the US. And then in February, we had Iran being struck by forces of Israel and USA. And now we're seeing Lebanon being struck during a ceasefire. This year has been really, really rough. How do you react when you see, you come from Iran, you see your country caught in this war, in this turmoil?
If you look at the history of Earth, it's been going on forever. So, for instance, if we were attacked by Mongols, we either surrender, give them everything, or they rape and pillage and murder every single human being here. Alexander the Great, he set Persepolis on fire because he was drunk one night. Yeah, so this is, I was studying Attila the Hun. Yes, he was a German emperor, and he was a pain in the ass for the Roman Empire. And all he did was fight wars. So this has been going on forever. If I was an alien looking back at humanity, I was like, these guys aren't worth two shits, really, right? Because they're destroying this small planet they live on. If we all end up killing each other, it's the best thing that has happened to Earth. Reset, right? During COVID, animals started coming back, the fish started coming back. It didn't take that long for the fish to start swimming in sea when we've been polluting them. So Earth would be far better off without us. However, we're here, and I don't want it to end because I've got kids, right?
Right.
And a grandchild. And the difference is, it's in our faces, okay? Mm-hmm. We see it every single day. And they push it in our faces because after Second World War, they said that through the Nuremberg trials, that the whole of 30 million Germans were controlled by a handful of Nazis. Okay? And people didn't know about concentration camps.
No.
Okay? I've been to the concentration camps that remain, and it's heartbreaking what humanity to the others. That's why it breaks my heart. Those victims are doing it to others right now. And it breaks my heart that bullying is so in your face. Yes? And still people support people who are committing genocide. I speak loudly about what's happening in Gaza because I don't think a brown child has a lesser value than a white child. All humanity is equal. I mean, look at this country where we live in. Human dignity, respect, human values, they've got to mean something, right?
Right.
You have a country, there's borders, you got to respect that country. You can't sit and say, I'm going to destroy all civilization because you wrote a bullshit book 30 years ago that you didn't write anyway.
Right.
Yes, your ghostwriter wrote the book Art of the Deal, right? So everything is a deal. Everything is a deal, right? If I bully them, give them a time scale, the deal should come through. Because back in New York, Donald Trump used to get there and bang the table and everybody shit themselves and sold them the property or the land. You can't do that to sovereign countries.
No.
You can't go and turn around to a head of a very rich, powerful country and say, oh, now you're kissing my ass. How do you expect that head of that sovereignty to behave with you, No,
I know. It's very complicated. The Western media that report sort of the reason behind this war, the so-called Iran has nuclear weapons of mass destruction. We've been through this argument
So did
before.
Saddam, so did Libya, Gaddafi.
All those
they
other
all had it,
countries,
yeah.
all those nations.
And it was always Netanyahu, who was the biggest war criminal of all time. It was always him saying that everybody's weeks away from the nuclear bomb.
Right.
When they started this bombing, they actually didn't know it was about nuclear. It was about regime change. And then they changed the narrative. Then now suddenly we're thinking, oh shit, Strait of Hormuz. We didn't think about that one. And everybody was talking about it. Now it's about opening it. It was open before.
It was open before the war.
It was open free to anyone. Now Iran's selling oil at increased price. They're actually charging tariffs for both.
Of course.
So
they have the right to defend themselves.
Exactly. But here's the thing about, 20 odd years ago, plane from Iran, I don't know if you know, was coming to Dubai, and the Americans shut it down.
On Sunday, July the 3rd, 1988, the aircraft was shot down by the US Navy guided missile cruiser USS Vincennes, killing all 290 passengers and crew aboard, including 38 non-Iranians and 66 children.
American soldier who shut the plane down, he was celebrating. They thought it was actually a warplane of some kind.
Wow.
And never, ever America has apologized to Iran.
I'll never apologize for the United States of America. Ever. I don't care what the facts are.
For shooting down a passenger plane with children.
The 300 people on there.
Yes, it was coming to Dubai.
And it just all died.
Over the Gulf.
All died.
Yes, all blew up in the sky. And not one single time America apologized for the mistake they made. You see? Because there's a law, I believe, that no American soldier has to justify anything. It can only go to trial in the American courts. So you got no accountability. You can do what you like. Yes, this morning I was watching an Israeli soldier shoot a Palestinian walking away with his hands up in the head. They shoot kids for laugh. This hurts. This hurts. And I think one of the reasons I stopped chasing money is because what's the point of money? When humanity is being tortured and killed for no reason, why am I bothering chasing money? Life isn't that important. Let's focus on other things.
Not to mention, they've also introduced the law to the death penalty in Israel for Palestinians. Only for Palestinians.
Yeah. It's racism. Yeah. It's an apartheid country. For the first time, they have full authority to do whatever you have. Netanyahu has a short window of time. Okay. God knows what they have on Trump, right? Here's the thing. This spaceship that went to moon and back?
Artemis, that one? Or the other one?
Yes. Yeah. They actually saw UFOs.
They did?
Yes. Objects that moved really fast, okay? And they couldn't understand why. It didn't even get headlined. Think about it. They videoed potential extraterrestrial objects and UFOs, and it didn't even get a headline. What's going on? We know there's people eating children's brains. We know they've been taking children. God knows what they've been doing. There's pedophilia going on with the most powerful human beings, most of them men, white men, yes? And it doesn't even capture the headlines anymore.
They're too powerful. Society would crumble.
You control the narrative.
Yeah.
Now, I have Jewish people, don't get me wrong, I have Jewish, Baha'is, Muslims, Christians in my family, right? So it's not a religion thing. At the same time, here's one for you. The 2% of the population of America are Jewish. Out of all the billionaires in America, what percentage do you think are Jewish?
I have no idea.
Over 40%.
40%?
2% of the population.
Right.
Or 40%.
But 40% of that, okay.
Of that wealth, the billionaires.
And they control the world.
They control the world.
Yeah.
So we got Larry Ellison, who controls Paramount now, CNN, every single news channel. They're going to control the narrative.
Of course they will.
Because they don't, what was it? Elon Musk is not, he's atheist, I think. He actually turned around and said the biggest weakness with humanity is empathy. To care for someone is a weakness.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we live in that time that money and power are the most important thing.
Before we get to that empathy stuff, the narrative...
Empathy stuff? What are you talking about? Are you one of them? Empathy stuff?
We're about to get it.
Next thing you know, I have a picture of me as Jesus up here. I say, no, I was a doctor.
I want to talk a little bit about the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Yes.
Because, the IRGC are controlling Iran, and the majority of the public in Iran don't agree with the IRGC. Some have even claimed that we want the IRGC to be taken out, and we want Israel to help us take them out. So there's mixed feelings about the IRGC. On the other hand, IRGC are defending Iran. They're the ones controlling the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is oil supply, which powers and financially funds Iran. So
And the region.
and the region, not just Iran. So where do you stand with the IRGC? It's a mixed, complicated one.
I can't bear them. I think the current government are, they are, what's the word I'm looking for? They are sick, and they are thieves. During the Shah left 1978, the Shah of Iran left 1978, they were also thieves, right? But it was one family. Now there's thousands of these mullahs stealing. They own toll roads in Toronto. They own mansions in London. This guy who supposedly had his leg blown off, the new leader of Iran.
Yeah, the new leader.
He's got a £50 million house in London. Yes, doesn't have a business to be accountable to. So these guys are bigger thieves than ever. Now here's where I have a position. And on social media, I've had death threats from every party, both sides. But I get a lot more support than death threats, let me tell you. In Gaza, if you're born on this side of the line, you are tormented, you live in a concentration camp. You don't have passport, you don't have access to the free world, nothing, you die. Okay, the Israelis control your food, your electricity, your well-being, your health, everything. And they're shooting you down every single day. In Iran, it's different. Because in 1978, all these people who want freedom, their fathers supported the change. You with me? I was there when my aunt came in lying, saying, oh my God, there's been a revolution and I saw people getting shot in the street. Bullshit. She was exaggerating, right? Nothing was like that happening. So how can I have sympathy for people whose fathers supported the regime change, right? And things were so good. I think the Iranian toman was 11 to £1. Now it's, I think, 400,000 to 1. The inflation's been ridiculous. So they called for it. They asked for it. Now, the economy's terrible. They don't have right to wage. Young men and women are dying all the time, wanting their freedom. And they're absolutely right. The government's wrong, and they shouldn't deal with them like they have been. Okay? However, they can still eat. Right? They're not in a concentration camp. Okay? And one thing about the Iranian people is that when Saddam Hussein attacked Iran in 1980, 1 million wave of Iranian men and women went on to mine human waves. Europe, America, Russia was supplying Iraq with weapons of mass destruction, mustard gas, poisonous gas, cyanide, all against the Iranians, and Iranians still won. They came all the way to Basra, and then they said, you know, if you want peace, go back to your original borders. So after 1 million Iranians died. So these stupid idiots who are bombing Iranians, they're only galvanizing. Yes, they're only getting together all the unity of people who want to protect the sovereign nation, the history, the civilization has been there 2,500 years, right? So the Iranian government, they're shitheads. Yes, they're crooks, thieves, liars, horrible, horrible. But at the same time, they have to take responsibility that their fathers chose them. Okay, so it's not as black and white as Gaza. Okay, every human life matters. So when I talk about Gaza, I get people saying, you so-and-so, you don't care about Iranians. It's not a multiple choice. It's not A or B, right? You can care about humanity. Everybody's equal, right? So in my humble opinion, they shouldn't have bombed them because all it's done is unite the nation. I don't think they have a plan. I think the greater Israel is the plan.
Yes. Paint the map blue.
Go up to east to Syria, go up to Lebanon, and nobody can say anything. They bombed 1,000 Lebanese people, got killed in 10 minutes, and not one single American politician said anything against them.
I'm not going to let you off on this because you have said it 3 times that God gave this land to this people. And so it is entirely fair for me, with respect, to ask, what land are you talking about? You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all.
At least somebody's saying something in America, right? There's got to be an investigation. God knows when that investigation is. And they do, is it called a double tap, double hit something? What happens is it's a Israeli tactic. It's part of genocide. So what they do is they hit you with a bomb, and then when the ambulances come, they hit you again. Yeah, so that's what they did. They hit it twice, the school. So they had bad intentions. So it's that inequality that, you know, when I go to America, I half expect to get stopped at the border because of my color of my skin or where I was born. You're on a plane, you know, if you shout, you know, Alhamdulillah or something like that, you're going to get thrown. Yeah, Allahu Akbar. You're going to get anything Arabic, you're going to get thrown off the plane. And by the way, if I kill someone, let's say if I kill somebody's children, okay, and their parents in the most horrible way, and they want revenge, are they terrorists?
They have the right to defend themselves.
You with me? They have the right to defend themselves or vengeance or something. So the way we are being right now, we're creating wars for our future generation. And the whole idea is to leave the world a better place than we found it.
In your opinion, is the IRGC a terrorist organization? Well, I mean, Israel.
So is Israel, so is Hamas. But then here's the thing, where they all come from, right? Until 1953, Iranian oil was given to British Petroleum. Did you know that? Yeah, the British came into Iran and here, and they got all the oil. Bahrain used to belong to Iran. And they took out all the oil and gas and took it home. So imagine you and I go to Texas, we dig a hole, get the oil out, have our little boat, and we bring it back here. How would America feel about it? Or the British in the Northwest, North Sea, right? So injustice has been done. And then what happened? A guy called Mossadegh, he was an Iranian prime minister, came on and had the revolution. And he was voted by the Iranian people to nationalize Iranian fuel. The British didn't like it. They went to America and said, help, okay? So the CIA came in and they paid hooligans to go out in the street and pretend they were the supporters of the prime minister. And they ousted him and they bring the Shah in. Okay? The Shah comes in, and until 1978, do you know what percentage of Iranian oil he was giving back to America and Britain?
A large one.
40%.
He was a puppet.
I was there when the puppet was there, but we had a good standard of living, okay? Maybe the country was modernized too quickly, because I remember people hitting themselves with chains and bleeding on the back. At the same time, my mom was wearing a miniskirt. You know, it was too fast, right? However, until 1978, 40% of the revenue of all Iranian oil was taken to the West. That's why Donald Trump can say, I can have Venezuela's money, oil. I can have the Iranian oil. If I had it, I'll take it. But here's the thing, maintaining it is the costly part, right? You can take it, but for how long? Before, you know, the guerrilla warfare comes and your life becomes a nightmare. No matter how much the profit is, you can never be an invading country and stay there at peace these days. Hamas was funded by Netanyahu.
Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat.
Yitzhak Segev, for example, who was the Israeli military governor in Gaza, and later told a New York Times reporter that he helped finance the Islamic movement. The Israeli government gave me a budget, he said, and the military government gives to the mosques. Cohen was the Israeli official who was responsible for religious affairs in Gaza for more than 2 decades, and who now says, quote, Hamas, to my great regret, is Israel's creation.
I stopped cash suitcases because I believe that Hamas, to have all these suitcases full of cash that goes directly to kill us.
The inconvenient truth is that Hamas is in part a creature of Israel's own making, an enemy that Israel spent more than 20 years helping to build up, and then spent the next 20 years trying to bomb, besiege, and blockade out of existence.
More knowledge is coming into the narrative now that actually after the Epstein files, after him himself, Jeffrey, calling us non-Jews goyim, you know, goys, the goys, deal with the goy, we start to realize, okay, so we know COVID was an inside job.
Here's another email on the matter between Epstein and Gates. Please find attached a draft agenda for the meeting on preparing for pandemics as requested. Let's discuss next steps. For example, how to officially involve the World Health Organization and the ICRC, i.e. co-branding. They were literally architecting a structure to financialize and militarize public health.
We know COVID was an inside job. Was 9/11 an inside job? Was the Mujahideen an inside job? Was ISIS an inside job or Al-Qaeda an inside job?
I knew that bin Laden had been CIA going back to the Mujahideen being set up by Zbigniew Brzezinski and Jimmy Carter, and then Reagan took that over.
JFK?
Yeah, JFK. How far is the rabbit hole? Now, Epstein was the tip of the iceberg.
I've met two people who've had experiences with the evil. Evil beings on this planet, okay? One of them was my old personal trainer, and he was from Albania, shredded, good-looking guy. Meets this girl on the beach in Dubai, and she's Austrian, and she falls in love with him and invites him back to Austria. Okay, this is true. And they pick him up, they pay for his flights, he goes back, and he's talking to me all the time, because he could barely speak English, and he's happy and sharing photos with me and talking to me on WhatsApp. They're picking me up in the Ranger. Oh, the Ranger has got no number plate. And they take him to this castle somewhere in Austria. And they sit him down and they talk about human sacrifices to him.
Wow.
And they grooming him.
This is a match with the Epstein. Because they did this with babies.
Indeed. And he's like, oh my God, get me out of here. Middle of the night, she walks in with her brother. And they want to play with him, right? They want to have a party. And he's just, get me out of here. And he had to literally escape to get here. And this is the most down-to-earth, humble guy you could ever meet. And the way he was telling me everything, he was scared for his life.
Oh.
And yeah.
So this is like
and what they were talking about, so they are, this family group are so wealthy that they can control the wealth of countries. Rothschild. And I witnessed it. There was another one I met, a great businessman, and he was invited to a party in Europe headed by a family of a very huge conglomerate in Europe worth billions. I'll tell you after the podcast who the company is, because they're trading in Mall of Emirates, Dubai Mall, and so forth. And they went in a cave, and there were sacrifices.
They sacrifice people and eat them?
Or just didn't say about sacrifice, people. And there was one lady and about 300 men all in black suits and stuff. So
this stuff is real. Secret societies are real.
And then what's sad is that, again, the files are out there. They're in the open, but nobody talks about it. It's like nothing. Not one single person has been prosecuted in the
Apart from Ghislaine Maxwell?
Well,
apart from her, but the one person.
Now where is she? She's got her own dog.
She's in prison.
Yeah.
I know.
Because if she opens up. But do you know why Melania came out a couple of days ago, out the blue? Because her friend of 20 years ago was threatening to tell all. Right? So how much longer,
might die.
How much, probably, she actually says I might die. How much would it cost to shut her up, right? Because they're trillionaires behind all this. Do you remember that picture, the video of a model that came out after a party and she was saying, I've seen children getting killed, and then she disappears, never to be seen again. There was another lady in Mexican border. She opened the back of a truck and saw dead corpses of children. And then she was never to be seen again. Maybe we'll never be seen again. Maybe there'll never be episode 96. But
God forbid.
AI version.
I'm here to spread truth.
Take a picture.
Whatever it takes.
So I'm an optimist, and I never thought this kind of thing existed, but it's right in our faces.
Me too. Since the Epstein files, narrative after narrative on social media, Reddit, have been taken to the social media saying that Israel has been behind every war and every conspiracy. JFK goes back to JFK because JFK was against AIPAC. It was against Israel.
Why did a guy like John F. Kennedy get assassinated? He got assassinated because he called out something that he knew to be a corrupt component of the government that was trying to usurp his authority as the duly elected president of the United States of America.
You know, AIPAC's the largest pro-Israel lobby.
The largest lobby, period.
Largest, yeah. The largest lobby. And 9/11 being
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Where are they getting the money from? The country's 1947, I think, until now. 9 million people. Where have they got the money from? Why are they so rich?
Why is that?
A country that's 70 years old?
Well, I would guess the U.S. funds it.
No. I've been to parties or events in Manchester when Jewish billionaires get up and they do a toast to State of Israel and the Queen at the time. And they send money. Everyone sends money back to Israel. Imagine all that money going back to Israel. All of the pumping money into Israel. They have no natural resources. Where they got the money from? They have no natural resources.
Who sends this money?
Individuals.
Just individuals?
Individuals.
Entrepreneurs?
Billionaires.
Billionaires.
Billionaires and trillionaires just sending money every single day.
What's the ROI? Why would they?
So they can have it. Now, where's the money coming from? I'll give you an example. Do you know the history of NASA?
I know NASA means to deceive.
You know the history of NASA?
No.
The US had no idea about jets, okay, or spaceships. Where did they get it from? The Nazis. Because the Nazis had the V2 planes hitting London. The V2, not planes, jets. Okay, so they were the inventors of helicopters, jets, okay? So they actually, I can't remember his name, but it was a young man at the time. They went and said to him, build a team, we'll bring you to America, Nazis, and then we'll give you total freedom to send men to the moon. And he did. He was the guy, head of NASA, until they sent the men to the moon, and he died shortly after old age.
Mm.
So from the beginning of time, I say, you know, it's okay if you're going to be killing or committing genocide as long as we're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come over, we'll let you off, we'll give you billions of dollars to send men to the moon, and we give you all the accolades and prizes, but it's okay. We turn a blind eye because we have an agenda.
Mm.
Okay? With Israel, the agenda is to have, by the way, the Zionists, I don't have a problem with Jews, it's the Zionists.
It's the Zionists.
Right? The Zionists, did you know which country they wanted to have before Palestine?
Kenya.
Yes, they
For their
wanted
natural
Kenya.
resources.
It was the British who said come
Yeah,
here.
the British said...
They stayed in Cyprus, and then they came in, the Palestinians, because the ignorance of the British, they thought that nobody lived in Palestine, right? They didn't realize millions of people lived there. So they came in, and it was like, help us, we just escaped World War II. Palestinians gave them their homes. After a year or two, they come back and say, your home is now, it's ours now, you can't come in. And they took over their homes, and it started, you know,
the
taking
occupation.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's happening every single day. As we speak right now, it's happening, and innocent people are dying. And right now, innocent people are dying in Iran, unfortunately. By bombing them, carpet bombing people, you're not going to fix the problem. No. You're only going to unify them.
Just before we move on, do you feel 9/11 was an inside job by Israel?
Well, I've been up the Twin Towers.
Yeah?
Yes, years before they got, yeah. How can two towers fall downwards? Just common sense, right? There was a hotel next door that I stayed in. I can't remember what it was called. It's a black hotel, very thin and long. When the Twin Towers came down, that hotel wasn't touched. There's a church next door, across the road, not touched. So how can two buildings fall inwards with two planes?
And 6 weeks earlier.
And then find the hijacker's passport on the street.
Yeah. And don't forget the dancing Jews. There were dancing Jews celebrating.
Supposedly.
They were celebrating.
Yes, indeed. Let's say that was just idiots, right? That was morons. That was war people. But common sense, right? Building 7 fell straight down the same way, not sideways.
There were bombs inside. And Silverstein took insurance on those buildings.
Do you know he's just bought a building in California?
I saw on the news. It's crazy. He did it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Another tower.
And nobody says anything. And the guy's almost 100 years old. Son of a gun. Honestly. And it's in our faces. It's in our
right
faces.
in plain sight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that makes me question, was the Mujahideen, was Al-Qaeda, ISIS, all Israel? Because you would never see ISIS bomb Israel. Ever.
Iran has never, they say, death with this and death with that.
Yeah.
They've actually, it's the Iranian law that they're not going to have nuclear weapons. But nobody talks about it.
But Israel can have nuclear weapons.
India, and they're not even admitting to it, and everybody knows.
And the US is pumping them with money, sending money to an organization that has nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
That's a violation.
If I call you a terrorist, then it justifies anything I do to you. Because still people live, unfortunately, the majority of stupid people, they still have to have a bad guy to go at. So I'm not going to attack Germany, but I'm going to attack Hitler because he's a bad guy. Yes, I'm going to attack this person. I put a name to it because he's a bad guy. But here's the fact. I think 80% of Americans don't even have passports. They've never left the country. They don't know anything. But when you go to America, they're the nicest human beings.
Yeah.
Nicest Americans are the nicest people you could meet.
But they're just naive.
Ignorance.
They're just naive and ignorant.
Yeah.
They just believe what the narrative
says. The media,
says.
who controls the media? The Zionists.
Did you know Benjamin Netanyahu's real name isn't actually...
It's Polish.
He's Polish.
Yeah, he's
Benzion Milakowski, born in Warsaw, Poland. And he emigrated to Palestine in 1920 in a town called Netanya. And so, why do we have a Polish...
There is restrictions of childbirth for non-whites in Israel.
Childbirth? For non-whites?
So if you're a black Jew...
Yeah, you can't...
They give you prescription, so you can't, or you can only limit to one. There's something like
Sounds
that.
like Bill Gates.
Yeah. It's just like apartheid and fascism. Just like, but worse.
The ongoing circulation that I'm seeing on social media as well is that bringing back Hitler into the conversation, and they're questioning, did 6 million Jews really die in the Holocaust? Was that actual fact? And did Hitler have good intentions, what he was trying to stop from coming about, as we've seen now?
The fact is that gypsies got killed,
yeah,
gays got killed, disabled people got... Hitler was evil.
He wanted to
build pure race.
A pure race.
Pure race.
Yes.
So even black people, so it just had to be pure Aryan race. So he was nasty guy. Nasty guy. At the same time, who's been Israel's biggest enemy? Themselves. Because of what they're doing every single day. Netanyahu is the most hated human being on earth because of what he's doing, right? Now, I've actually translated, and yesterday I think I posted one of Hitler's speeches, and it's all about, we're a great nation, let's work hard. And if you look at what he did, the Autobahns in Germany are still the ones he built. There was there was about 5-6 million unemployed in Germany. He found employment for them all before conquering Poland and Holland and so forth. So in a way, he built Germany. And since First World War, the Allied nations were screwing Germany. The supply of food and cheese and dairies was controlled by the Jewish population. And there was a huge amount of listeria and hundreds of thousands of Germans died. So people have to blame someone. Okay, there has to be a scapegoat. Totally wrong.
Totally understand.
I've been to, I don't know about the numbers, but then lots of Russians got killed, prisoner of wars got killed. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a hard one.
One person's one too many, right? So I'm never going to, but he's laughing in his grave. He's saying, I told you so.
It's like 2026, do you guys get it now?
I told you so.
Yeah.
Right? Because the moment you actually disregard human beings because of their skin color or their religion, everything, you're just on a downward rabbit hole.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel there's something to do with the religion of Judaism that he particularly targeted. The ritualistic practices that they actually adhere to from the Torah, the Talmud, was questionable. Questionable is all I'm saying. Questionable.
Okay.
And maybe Hitler may have said...
We talk about Ricky Gervais, right? And he says, whether I'm a Muslim or you're a Christian or you're a Jew or you're a Buddhist, there's 3,000 gods in the world. It's 3,000 gods, 3,000 religions, okay? So if I'm an atheist and you have one religion, you reject 2,999 gods.
Yes.
I reject 3,000. One more than you. Okay? So we're all wrong. True, we're all wrong. So in my humble opinion, God is within us. That's what makes me different to a dog.
But have you seen what's in the Talmud? Some of the passages that say it's okay to sleep with a 9-year-old.
You can say the same thing about Islam and Christianity, right? You couldn't eat pork 1,500 years ago because pigs are the only animals that eat their own shit, right?
Okay,
yeah? There was an abundance of women and people were just burying their daughters alive, yeah, because they had too much women. So have many wives. So things make sense at the time. But they don't have to be literally translated.
What about like sucking the blood during circumcision? Sucking the blood.
I don't know about that.
Bris, or Brit Milah, is the Hebrew word for circumcision ritual.
After the circumcision took place, they applied something known as direct oral suction. Direct oral suction. Direct oral suction.
The circumcisers sucking blood from the infant's cunt. Sucking blood from the infant's cunt.
And the reason why they do that is because they are supposed to draw blood from deep inside the wound. Now,
Sucking the blood during circumcision. Sucking the blood.
I don't know about that.
That's in the Talmud.
It depends who's sucking it, though, right?
That's in the.
Yeah.
I checked this.
So
it's a practice.
I don't know. But the funny thing is, my son will be watching, but he got circumcised by a rabbi, and it was fantastic. Yeah. So not fantastic as in he was great.
Experience.
2
5
seconds
stars.
done. Yeah. He was only 3
terrific
months
guy.
old, and he was done on the kitchen table.
Oh God.
Yeah, I remember my son's face was like laughing at me, and it's suddenly, I don't trust you anymore. I was going through some marriage troubles, my first marriage, and we got a marriage counselor, and he was a Jewish rabbi, and he was incredible. It changed my life. So you can't just generalize.
Agreed.
Here's the thing. The reason most people do not like the Jewish population is because they've been money lenders.
Yeah.
It's the only
charging
religion.
usury.
Interest, yes. It's the only religion where you can charge interest. And here's my personal experience. Every single frigging time I've lent money, I've had problems getting it back.
Yeah, I understand.
So if by law they're allowed to lend money and charge interest, they're going to be hated because in the human race, suddenly the moment you lend me money, it becomes my money. Why do you want it back for? You're stupid enough to lend me. Now you're charging me interest as well, so I hate you. And when I owe you enough, I'm going to kick you out of my country. So in a way, I've sat next to Jewish employees, colleagues, and they have a gift. They have a gift, a focus. They're just money trained, you know? It's in their DNA.
It's in their DNA.
Yeah, instead of like resenting them, I should learn from them.
Yeah, they're money experts.
Experts,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, it's like some nations are great runners. Seriously, right? Some nations are great swimmers. It's just in their DNA. And I shouldn't resent them.
There's one thing that's questionable still. We are the chosen ones.
Yeah,
everybody else is goyim.
Yes.
That's what they believe.
Yes.
You know, goyim is another word for slave or cow, cattle.
Yes.
And so that means we are not equal. You don't see me with the same equal rights as you.
The extremists say that, but most Jewish people I know, they don't say that.
Yeah, okay. So when I say Jews, I don't mean the people.
The Zionists.
The Zionists. Exactly.
Yes,
that's the separation.
Yes. The Zionists are, because we are the victims, so we're allowed to destroy you and take over. We don't have to justify anything to anyone. And because of what happened to us 90 years ago, we're going to own you.
Yeah.
Okay? I actually don't know where this is going to go. But then look at Mark Zuckerberg. He controls every single way of communication that we have right now.
We have to boycott.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But then how can I get you to boycott if I can't communicate with you?
That's true. Well,
I can't reach out to you. It's happening in Iran. They have cameras everywhere. If more than 5 people gather in one place, secret police come and
agreed.
It
would have to be through a decentralized platform. Decentralized, not centralized by one organization. That's my thinking aloud here. A decentralized social media platform where it's not controlled by one entity and it's blockchain powered. That would be one way. Another way is radio signal. Yeah. But okay, wow.
It's past my lifetime.
This is, it's very complicated. People, and one last thing, they use the narrative that if you criticize Israel, if you call this a genocide, you are anti-Semitic. What's your response?
In England, if you say Palestine action, you're arrested. You know, I was sitting in Waterstones, which is a bookstore in Manchester, and honestly, I cried and I looked out the window, and probably 10,000 white Christian men and women were marching for Palestine. And I thought, they don't have to. They can sit at home and watch football, but they come in the streets and march. So there's hope for humanity. They don't have to do that in Manchester. Last weekend, 500 British, white, elderly, innocent teachers, doctors got arrested because they had placards saying Palestine action.
Just for that?
Where's
Palestine action? What happened to free speech?
you guys are committing genocide. You're providing bombs to have bomb innocent people. And we say Palestine action, we get arrested. This momentum will turn. These governments will be voted out. I truly believe in the good of humanity.
So is free speech just a disguise then? When they say there's free speech in England?
Here's the thing. Before, the narrative was always controlled by agents and middlemen. The difference is now the middleman's gone because of social media. You see, now we see it.
We see it.
But before, we had to believe. Before, people worshipped the royal family.
Yeah.
Yes? Henry VIII was the most disgusting human being you could ever met and died of syphilis. Yes? Yeah, his dick turned green and he never showered.
Oh, God.
Imagine?
No.
Right? So he died of syphilis. So the guy was sick.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with him, chop your head off. But then the narrative was controlled that he was the greatest king there ever.
Greatest king ever. Same with Winston Churchill.
Yeah, one of the war criminals, right?
War criminals as well.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
Did you know that Hitler didn't want to bomb British cities?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I read online.
And Churchill kept bombing German cities. And then knowing he wanted to bring the Americans into war, and eventually Hitler started bombing London and America came.
As a consequence.
As a consequence.
Of course.
He sacrificed hundreds of thousands of people's lives to bring the Americans to win. So.
Was Hitler bad?
Yes. Yes.
Did he have good intentions though?
No.
Okay.
It was just like America first. It was Germany first.
Okay.
Yes, it's as bad. I think we spoke about this, and the moment nations put walls up and they don't invite foreigners to come in, because by far the majority of foreigners, immigrants, help society in that country. It's that ignorance of we are it now, we're the elite, we get comfortable, we can do this. It's the downfall. If the dollar wasn't attached to the oil, it would have collapsed by now. And we will soon collapse because of blockchain and so forth. They're doing everything they can to trade dollars.
Yeah.
To keep it up.
Keep it up, of course. The dollar, the petrodollar. If you go against the petrodollar, we come after you.
Yeah,
you can't go against it. I know.
Absolutely.
But do you believe 6 million Jews were actually killed?
I don't know. Really, I don't know.
It's hard to know, but...
Do you know, I don't think there was 6 million too many, 5 million too many, 200,000 too many.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been to the concentration camps. I've been to where they actually gassed them and burned them. It's not good. You know, I've seen I've been on the railway track where the train stopped and Dr. Mengele decided whether to go left or right. You know, I'll give you an example. I was sitting on last month, I think 28th of February when the bombing started.
It was 28th, yes.
20. We were sitting in the back garden and my guest, famous Iranian, and his wife turned around and said, you know what? When people, I was saying it's not right that people are dying, because she goes, well, it's collateral damage. In war, there's always collateral damage. Collateral damage, right? And then a drone went, boom, hit the Fairmont behind us. Okay?
Yeah, the Fairmont Hotel.
And they shit themselves. My guests shit themselves. My villa shook.
Wow.
My sister phones up and there's like firecrackers. They're being shut down in there. Boom, boom. I said, I can't talk right now. But what was interesting, the moment her children were in danger,
when it's personal,
she had to run away.
Yeah.
But before that, it was collateral damage. Fucking collateral damage. Excuse my language. Yeah. It's only collateral damage until it becomes personal, right? And that I'll never forget.
Never forget.
Yeah, because I care about the person across the street. What was he said? If you turn the blind eye and walk, you're as bad as the guy who's doing it. I'd never want to turn the blind eye. I've been asked to go into politics. I've been asked to get involved in the potential new government, Iranian government. And I thought, no, because I spoke to my family. I said, you won't survive.
You won't survive.
You won't survive.
They'll oust you out because you have to be a puppet.
They'll kill you.
Yeah.
They won't oust you. They'll kill you. How long would it take Mossad send somebody to shut me down? Yeah, 2 seconds. They've done it before in Dubai.
Did you hear about Kanye West's concert being cancelled in the UK? Kanye West?
I don't know quite why, though.
Yeah, he's very vocal about... how do I say this? He's been very vocal about the situation in Gaza. He's been very vocal.
Oh, really?
He's against the genocide, but also he's against Jews in general. He calls himself a Jew himself, but on Piers Morgan's show, he said, "I'm a Jew, but I don't know if he is a practicing Jew." He's just been very vocal about, and he's come out with a song called "Heil Hitler."
Wow.
He even puts Hitler's speech at the very end of the song.
No.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? I don't speak German, but when you go, and you're thinking, wow, he is a madman. When you translate it, it's actually really innocent. He's just a very passionate guy.
Yeah.
But did you know he practiced for 2 years in front of the mirror before he made a speech?
Oh.
Check it out. Look, Google Hitler practicing speeches.
Oh, wow.
And he's in front of the mirror practicing.
Practicing.
Yeah, he perfected it.
That's
through practice.
Fair enough. He's a hustler.
There's
he works
a lesson
hard
for you, right? If you're really good at something, practice it.
He's a hustler. But the point I'm making is that Kanye West's wireless concert has been cancelled.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's an idiot. A very extremely talented idiot. Right?
Kanye West?
Yes. Didn't he run for presidency?
I wasn't sure. I don't know.
He ran for presidency. I've seen him say the most, I can't remember now, but stupid stuff. So your credibility goes after a while, but you've got to be careful what you say consistently, right?
Okay, let's move on from geopolitics. Something more positive. We're going to wrap up soon, but now
I'm happy continue.
I know we could continue for ages. I know.
I've got time.
I want to now move on to something more positive as we de-escalate from this, because I hope there will be. I'll say one last point. There will be a silver lining to this World War III, that there will be a cleansing. People start to realize from the Epstein files, they start to connect the dots. Israel, IDF, Mossad, CIA combined. Don't forget MK Ultra. They never apologize for MK Ultra, the CIA. So my last de-escalation.
I've got to be very careful what I say, because I got some tickets to the US. Because every time I go, now they go say, like, I'll go to the room and check my social media, what I say and stuff like this. You love Americans. So I've got to go to a Vegas show.
You're just spreading truth.
Yeah.
But the point is, I believe there will be a cleansing out of all this. And IRGC will start to say, look, we're going to reunite. We can't be too authoritative to our own people. We have to reunite. We have to find some kind of compromise with our own people. We need to work together. We need to keep the Strait of Hormuz, working for us. And if people want to come through, they come through the right way. They pay and they can take our oil. But they come through the right way. They don't bomb us and then tell us, open the fucking Strait of Hormuz in a letter or in a tweet.
Or else. I'll give you a quick story. When I was 13, I went to a school in England, and I was the only non-white guy, okay? And I was having my ass kicked every single day.
You were beaten?
Bullied every single day. But my mom was also bullying me at home, so I couldn't go and tell her. It just means more bullying. So I was just bullied 24/7. So I learned how to stand up for myself, fight, and so forth. But there was a guy called Ross. And if you imagine in comic books, so I'm about, 5'2", and this guy's age 12, 13, he's 6 foot tall. Yes? And he's fat.
Oh, yeah.
Yes? And he's got blonde hair like this, and he's got these, whatever you call it, freckles, right?
Yeah.
Typical comic book character, right? But he's the bully at school.
Yeah.
So he's going around and pushing people and bullying people, carrying books. He'll knock them on the floor, put spit on a spoon and put it at people's backs. It was typical bully, right? And he wanted to bully me. And every time I came towards him, I was like, oh, here we go again. There's going to be some altercation. And then one day he pushed me too far, okay? And I said, in my basic English, okay, bike shed at 5 o'clock outside the school. I never went, okay? And I had a feeling he didn't go either. So next day, people went, how did it go? I said, I don't know, I couldn't find him. The news got round that I was saying that.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm playing table tennis at what was called the library, and he comes in lunch break, and he attacks me.
Oh, shit.
Okay? I didn't, and he started making excuses about why he wasn't there at the bike shed. I was like, I should have said nothing, right? I created this.
Yeah.
So I stood up and we're having a fight, okay? Massive fight. And then when you go on the floor, people are kicking you and shouting scrap. I don't know what the hell was going on around me.
Yeah.
Yes? We fell onto the table tennis table. The table tennis table folded in half and bang.
Oh.
Next thing you know, table tennis table, him and I are rolling on the ground. The bell goes. Kids start running back to the school, to the classes. He gets up and look at him, and he's a mess. He's a mess. I've messed him up, right? Bleeding and so forth. And I thought, oh no, I've got Latin. I couldn't speak English. I'm learning Latin. So I go and sit down, and suddenly the adrenaline comes of what had happened. So I'm sitting in class, and my hands like this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, shaking. Okay?
Yeah.
And I turn around, I've got a bloody lip. My clothes are a mess. Okay? Then I had to go home and get kicked shit out of by my mom, explaining why this had happened. I wouldn't tell her I was bullied. I just had to take it. I honestly thought, I can't take this. I tried killing myself several times when I was 14 because I couldn't express myself, right?
Wow.
So, but here's the thing. From that day onwards, he showed me respect.
Yeah.
He didn't touch me. Everywhere he went like this and avoided me because he couldn't fuck with me. Right? Nobody will F with me. And it's been like that ever since. Iran's done the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, you can kick my ass if you really wanted to. But I'm going to rough you up a little bit.
I'm not going to give up without a fight.
And now it's like my dick's bigger than yours, right? America's actually hiding all the damages that Iran's done to them. Okay? They're saying only 13 people. And I was reading an article. You know when they said they had a rescue mission for this pilot? Yes, that nobody knows about or anything like that, right? Who he is, she, he, who nobody knows their identity. They involved 200 planes and flying helicopters and planes. It was an invasion that went wrong. You see, you don't use 200 planes to rescue one person.
They tried to put 200 planes in Iran?
And a runway.
Oh, shit.
And built a runway. Okay? In 1979, when there was the hostages, there was another try into the desert and the old helicopters crashed and everything. It was really humiliating. And I think they're hiding. So behind the scenes, Iran's having his ass kicked. Israel's, this dome is not really working anymore. They've run out of like 75% of all their ammunition to protect the dome in the world. So they're running out quick, yes? And Iran's got stockpile of cheap missiles, okay? At the same time, Iran's very vulnerable.
But don't forget, they have China and Russia.
Silently, I've given them information, satellite information.
Absolutely.
At the same time, America is the most powerful country by so somewhere along the way, they got to save face. That's all it is. My dick's bigger than yours.
There's a circus,
Yeah, they've just got to save face. And if they can somehow control the narrative that he looks good and he looks good, the whole thing will stop. Nobody wants to carry on, apart from Israel. Because if I'm causing disruptive, if the Arab world are taking all the liquidity and putting into things to fight each other, I can conquer this country, that country, and I'll just slowly move in and take over the whole area.
Paint the map blue.
Yeah.
But like you said with the bully anecdote, I really like that example. I believe that now Iran has really showed to the world, we're not Iraq, we're not Libya, we're not Afghanistan.
Yes.
We are Iran. If you mess with us, you're going to get your ass kicked.
I can't tell you how we love our country.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I love my country.
Yeah.
When I landed in Iran, I kissed soil because everywhere I went on personal development courses for the last 40 years, do you know what my nickname was? Lost.
Host?
Lost.
Lost
soul. But when I go home, Dubai is the nearest country to home. Because I've been westernized since childhood.
Yeah.
At the same time, there's Islam, there's
of course,
modernization,
culture,
systems. Yeah. So, they underestimated the Persians.
I just really hope the IRGC do well for the people in the sense that they allow freedoms.
It's not them. Do you know who was killing the kids in the streets? They had mercenaries they were paying, Afghans, Iraqis. They were paying them to kill the kids.
The IRGC were paying them to do this? Because they wouldn't want to do it themselves.
Iranians don't want to do it themselves.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So it's the mullahs at the top who control it, not the actual masses. It's the mullahs because they're making billions. They're making billions, Swiss bank accounts.
Speaking of one thing I overlooked, Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, was that an inside job? Do you think Israel was behind that? Because he did.
I don't think he was. He was irritating. Do you know what he was? He was like a pebble in your shoe. The guy was just appearing everywhere, Oxford in the debates, and he was talking shit. And then, he started changing the narrative against Israel, right?
Yeah, he did change his narrative.
He did.
Before he was like a puppet.
I just don't think he was powerful enough to be shot in public. But then, who is the guy who shot him? How did he get his gun? Who was the guy who shot Trump, and what happened to him? Nobody knows his name. Where is he from? How did he get his gun? Yeah. Do you know what upsets me? Is that today probably 100 Palestinians or Lebanese and Iranians will die. But one Jewish journalist gets killed, we know.
Everybody knows about it.
The birth signs, size of the shoes, underwear, everything.
Everything.
Yeah. And there's no equality, and there should be equality. That's all I care about. I love all humans, all colors, sexes, size, religions. We're all born equal. And that's how it should be.
As we move on, like from this cleansing and all this, do you fear death?
Yes.
You do? You fear death?
Yeah.
Darius?
Yes.
Why? I would never have thought that.
I was listening to Ricky Gervais, and he was amazing. He said, death is like being stupid.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know what's going on, but everybody else feels bad for you. That's beautiful, right? So what I fear is, what the effing hell was all this about? All this pain,
all this
what was all that about? 14 billion years ago, this earth was created, and I wasn't around. I wake up 50 odd years ago, and life happens. I'm the center of my movie.
Yes.
I just hope I don't prolong the end. As it's quick. My father died in his sleep.
Oh.
And age 29.
Wow.
Major heart attack, died. I've had 2 heart attacks already.
My apologies.
No, it's fine. It was his time. So my fear is what happens to my children, my grandkids.
Yeah. The future.
I hope they're going to be okay. And they'll all be okay. People die and people move on. But what's really stupid, before social media, after 2 generations, nobody remembers you.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, you never existed, unless, to answer your question, is the legacy you leave behind. It's hopefully my videos, my whatever, help quite a lot of people out there to have a better life than they were born in.
Between now and, let's say, death, wherever that is, what do you want to do with the rest of life that would seem meaningful to do now?
Can I keep it clean?
You don't have to keep it clean. This is a Traders Brawl podcast.
Okay.
Everything is uncensored.
I swear, okay.
Go for it.
When I was a kid, I went to Europe, and I couldn't understand why when we played football, the boys will get changed in a changing room collectively, right? In Iran, you go into your cubicle, shut the door, get changed, right? And I couldn't understand why they're all walking out with the balls out, right? And they're all going to the showers, and there's a big bath. I don't think they do that anymore because of hygiene. But everybody who used to play rugby and jump in the same bath, I was like, oh, it's horrible. So I always had a towel around me, and I was always shy and didn't like it. And again, I got bullied for that as well. So later on in life, I thought I'm freest when I'm naked. So if I could live naked.
Yeah, wow.
With zero show of any cars, clothes, anything. And I've been to naked resorts.
Oh.
And you really get to know people because you're not judging them by what they're wearing, what they've got on.
Was this on some island?
Yes. I swear. And it's the most liberating experience in the world.
Wow.
Because you're not judged. You're just not judged.
You're free.
You're just free.
Human.
And this is how you're supposed to be, right?
How you were born.
They don't care what watch you wear, what brand you got on. So to answer your question, I realized I want to be free in my own skin.
Wow, I love that.
I want to look in the mirror and think, you know what? I'm the best version of me.
Fantastic. That's it. We'll leave it there.
Thank you.
Darius, thank you so much for this
Love
podcast.
you, brother.
Lovely. Oh my God, I'm mind blown. We talked so many different intricacies about the geopolitical situation, but it was really eye-opening to hear from an Iranian, because I haven't had this experience from an Iranian themselves about the situation. But more importantly, the ending here is to live free. Like, how could you want anything else? End of the day, we're born with nothing. We die with nothing.
And we come alone and we leave alone.
And we come alone and we leave alone.
So be happy on your own. Be happy with yourself.
Darius, thank you so much for
Thank you, brother.
All right. That was an epic episode. I want to thank Darius right here. I want to thank you for watching. We'll leave all the links in the description. Links to his Gladiator Summit if you're still interested, if you ever plan to do it again in the future. But also his personal Instagram. I will leave everything in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, hope you leave a like and comment. Thank you again. I'm Adele Burton, and
you're amazing.
I'll see you next time. Cheers.